What was that song you were talking about just now?
The Central C one.
Yeah, what's it
I
called?
don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna look it up.
It sounded trash. I don't want to hear it.
It's recording.
Cool.
It is. It's recording.
We have decent lighting today because you decided to come on time.
I'm always on time.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into it. Not waste too much time. Today, this month, this November is Men's Mental Health Month. So we're going to be discussing some areas around men's mental health and men's issues.
Sounds good. Men's mental health is on, I think, the 19th of November.
Oh, is it a day?
I think it's, yeah. I don't know if it's a day or a month.
I thought it was a whole month.
Can I Google it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to Google it.
I thought it was a whole month.
I don't know if it's a whole month or if it's a whole day. But what is it? What shall I Google? When is men's?
Or maybe mental health month is just a separate thing, and maybe men just have one.
No. You're right. No, November is men's health awareness, which focuses on promoting physical and mental well-being.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it is a month. So yeah, we're going to be talking about areas around that and different things that men have to navigate to be able to improve their mental health. Oh, water just dripped on my nose. My hair's still wet. But yeah. So where do you wanna start?
Man, I touched the book. Was I meant to touch
You're
it?
allowed to touch
It's
the
fine.
book.
It's fine.
It's not forbidden.
It's like your holy Bible. Anyway, the first thing that I kind of wanted to start upon was, what does it mean to be a man for you? You know,
That is a big.
it's a very broad question.
That's gonna make me have an existential crisis for like the next few months. What does it mean to be a man?
Yeah.
To be a man. That's a very interesting question. But I think at the same time, I probably shouldn't overthink it. I feel like it's quite simple. To be a man, or what it means to be a man, is to. Oh fuck, that's hard.
It's hard. It is a hard question.
That is difficult.
It
Because I
is
feel
a
like
really hard question.
there's what does it mean to be masculine? I feel like is a bit easier. But what does it mean to be a man? Because as a man, you can, as an individual, you have the choice how to live your life. So I wouldn't say it's difficult to say there's one concrete answer on what it means to be a man. I'd say part of it is to be a good person, someone that's kind, someone that helps and guides others. Just having good qualities that other men
Facts.
or other younger men will be able to look to you as a positive role model, as an example.
Facts. I agree. Do you know what? When you were saying that it's like a really, really hard question to answer, like I actually feel you on that. There's like so many things that I would answer to that question in terms of what it means to be a man. You know, when I'm thinking about the question itself, I'm thinking financially, I'm thinking how you should act, I'm thinking how you should take care of yourself, but also like, you know, essentially I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to being a man is also essentially being a provider. Provider in the sense that you need to make sure your family is financially secure, you need to make sure you're putting food on the table, you know, you need to make sure you're cutting out all that chaos out of your life. It's just such a broad spectrum in terms of like what the actual answer is. That
In terms of being a provider, I feel like that's more of an expectation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's an expectation, but it's still sort of part of being a man. Do you not agree?
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
It's still a part of being a man. You know, like someone that's like, I don't know. I can only talk about like from example, innit? Like I've grown up around men my whole life that have done these things, have put food on their table, have kept their family happy, have managed to sort out any sort of issues in their family. You know, they need to basically maintain their frame. You know, they need to maintain their frame. Anything that's not in their frame, they can chuck it out. You know, but I know
what do you mean by frame?
Your masculine frame. The masculine.
But
frame.
there's a difference between being masculine and being a man.
Okay, that's true. But do you not think having a masculine frame contributes to being a man?
If it depends on the view you have of being a man.
I feel like a lot of the things that I'm saying to you right now in terms of like all of these things that I've kind of realized it now. All of these things that I'm describing to you are masculine traits. So I feel like, you know, I haven't really answered the question fully to a certain degree.
Because a woman can have those traits. A woman can.
They can. You know, women nowadays are earning like more money than men, and you know, being providers for their own family. Shout out to all the single mums. So, sorry. But yeah, no. I 100% hear your point. We need to stop recording. I need a toilet break.
So,
quick.
I'll just cut it.
Yeah, cut it out.
Man.
I need a woo. I'm so sorry.
You went like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I need that again. I drank like 3 liters of water.
Fucking
Sorry.
Well, just me. But what he was saying about being a man and providing for others, I think that is definitely a part of being a man. But it definitely doesn't make up all of it. I don't think if you're not in a position to provide for others or provide for those that you care for, that doesn't necessarily make you less of a man. You've rejoined.
I have rejoined. Sorry about that.
I was just saying that if you're not in a position to provide, maybe you're a younger man or you just haven't positioned your life in a certain way to where you can provide for others, provide for those around you. I wouldn't say that makes you less of a man.
No, it doesn't make you less of a man. I think there's just certain stages that you have to go through when it comes to your career, when it comes to whatever, to actually get to that stage. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you. I think it is difficult to separate what it means to be a man from what it means to be masculine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do think it's in a man's best interest to try and be masculine because it will help him navigate life better.
Yeah.
I think if a man doesn't try to cultivate masculine qualities, then he'll have a more difficult time in different areas of his life.
Speaking of men that like to sort of encourage masculine qualities, right, what do you think of the influence that sort of Andrew Tate or whoever, Andrew Tate mainly, is having on young men out there? Because a lot of young men anyway, they have access to social media, they can see all this content. Obviously there's been a lot of controversy around him, as we both know.
To me, I mean, I never really thought about him much. I watched some of his videos. Sometimes he's funny. Obviously he does what he does to garner attention, but in terms of his message to young men, especially young men that maybe lack a sense of responsibility in life, it's not necessarily bad. He's telling people to be disciplined, to work on themselves, to work towards something, to be able to provide for others. So I wouldn't say that specific part of his message isn't bad.
No, I agree. I think like what you were saying in terms of everything that he does, in terms of his brand, in terms of his images, to sort of garner attention, right? Like sometimes you'll see this guy saying the outright most ridiculous things, and obviously there's like a lot of controversy in terms of like, you know, was it the trafficking and all that rubbish that was going on, but underneath, like, you know, you do see a few reels and shorts and TikToks, whatever platform you're on, and this guy saying, oh, like, you know, the union between like a man and a woman is like the most powerful thing, or like his message to young men in terms of like sort of taking care of yourself, exercising, going to the gym, like these things are important, and you know, they contribute to either the debate of masculinity or being a man, you know, like it's hard to sort of segregate the two, but like a lot of the things that he says, I think they don't necessarily resonate with me, but I feel like they will contribute to a better society of better men, you know, because his stand on things, like obviously if you think that Andrew Tate, you know, disrespects women, whatever it might be, like that's cool, that's your opinion, you know, but like there is literal footage of this guy, you know, saying that you should respect women, saying this, saying that. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it's a completely different avenue. But like overall, his message out there to young men in terms of taking care of themselves, providing, you know, being a strong person, you know, being able to do like Muay Thai kicks, whatever, to whatever person that might be harming your family. I don't know. I think it's a good message overall. So
I think he's just a very exaggerated version of Jordan Peterson.
you think?
I know, so.
You think? I don't know.
That's
To
a
be
fact.
honest, I don't know much about Jordan Peterson, but I want
For people that don't know much about Jordan Peterson, he's the author of the book 12 Rules for Life, and he, you know, gained popularity because he started to, or young men gravitate towards him because he was telling them to take responsibility for their own lives and not rely on others. And yeah, he's definitely a more calm version, and he's been telling young men to embody good values. I think Andrew Tate just does it in a very exaggerated way, and like he gets attention, and it's works for
it's
him.
for the brand, it's for the image, isn't it? That's why he does it.
But I think overall, the kind of people in that space, they are trying to get men to be more masculine and take more responsibility for their life, which is better for society.
No, I agree. I agree.
Better for society.
Listen to Tate, but you know, take it with a pinch of salt.
I wouldn't say listen to anyone. I'd say form your own opinions. I think that's the problem with watching too many people on social media. You never really form your own opinion, and I think that's where the problem was, in terms of people saying, "Oh, he's, you know, telling younger men this, like 18 and below, like people in school, and like he's telling them to do the wrong things, and he's a negative influence." I think because young people are a lot more impressionable and they'll run with certain things, you do have to be careful of what you say to them.
No, you do.
So
you do.
Because I mean, me personally, I've heard the younger people say just like, I'm gonna buy a Bugatti, and I'm gonna buy 10 Bugattis in all different colours, and it's just like,
Yeah, but they're in like that early like socialization stage as well, aren't it? You know, so like I get what you're saying when you need to be sort of like careful about the sort of the knowledge that you consume from other people. You know, just because like if you have such a presence and a character online, it's very, very easy to like sort of, especially in today's generation, it's easy to take inspiration from these people. You know, I'm just gonna go on.
No, finish your point.
No. My point was just building on yours. I think it's just like you kind of do have to be careful about the knowledge you consume in terms of the information about being a man, because you were saying that, you know, you're eventually gonna form opinions that are not yours. You know, and I feel like another sort of important part of being a man or being masculine, whatever it is, you need to have your own opinion.
That's literally what I was gonna say.
You need to stay true to yourself, bro. You need to stay true to yourself. You need to have that confidence. You need not even confidence, man. You need to have that energy.
You need to have confidence and trust in your own opinion. I think that's what a lot of people lose from taking in opinions from social media and people they see online. They start to lose the ability to form their own opinion. So I think especially like young people, they'll have their fun, listen to whoever. But I think especially as an older person, as an older guy, it's more of it's a masculine trait to be able to form your own opinion and trust yourself and follow through with the things that you believe to be right.
Yeah, no, 100%. Agreed. I don't really have any more to say on Tate, to be honest. I just think all I was really going to say is I think that, you know, like some of the things that he says, they can be taken into consideration when it comes to actually being a man and being respectful, you know, working on yourself, all these things in terms of the whole self-improvement aspect, upgrading yourself, essentially. But yeah, man. Yeah.
Now, I think with linking that to men's mental health in particular, I think a lot of people will come out and say like I've had friends that have said, yeah, Andrew Tate helped me, like what he was saying about being disciplined, trying to improve yourself, that like it helped them.
It does quickly, because I know like you know, takes a massive conversation, and like we could go into like massive detail about it, but like he's also helping people financially as well, in terms of you know, setting up his, what was it called again, I can't even remember. Hustlers University, bro, like, because he's got that whole Discord community of like, you know, millionaire lecturers. You know, there's videos of people online actually making money from this, and you know, improving their situation, you know, improving their circumstances, and they're using that knowledge and they're just applying it. So in terms of like this whole like sort of financial field, he's also helping like, you know, normal people like me and you out when it comes to their finances, so you know, they can essentially maybe become future providers, or just, you know, having a bit of extra pocket money. It depends on how you look at it, you know, and it also depends on the circumstances that you're currently in. You know, so yeah, he's set up like a sort of foundation, like a community where people can actually sort of surround themselves with individuals who are in the same situation, who kind of want to better themselves, better than money. And it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense to do something like that, especially because you need a community. I feel like having a community of men around you, or having a community of people who are motivated to make money, or motivated in any way in general, is so important for your own self-improvement, and it's also important for your journey to being a man. You know, I feel like that's a journey that kind of never ends either. You know, that's just my opinion on it. You know, every day you're learning new things. Every day you're essentially becoming a better man. Maybe you're becoming a worse man. You know,
I think that's why it's difficult to answer the question. What does it mean to be a man, or what does it mean to be a good man? I think that's why it's so difficult, because you're always, especially us, we're like early 20s, we're going to be learning for a long time.
You're just going to be learning this. You know what? You're just going to be learning new things every day. And like, to me, because I've had, like me personally, right, I've had these like sort of experiences before where I've been like, yo, yeah, I'm finally a man. You know, I'm over the age of 24 now. I'm nearly turning 25. It's like, I'm a man. Don't know why I keep saying that and repeating it, but you know, I'll something will happen, and you know, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but something will happen, and then make me realize, okay, cool, maybe I've got like more to learn in terms of being a man, or maybe I need to act in this certain way to actually be a man. You know, maybe the way I was behaving was a bit childish, but now I know the mistake I made, or I know the whatever it might be, and I can build on that and better myself for the next day.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's just like a continuous journey that just kind of never ends, man. Like maybe when you're hitting your golden age or your golden years.
I think being a good man is helping other men on that journey.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
If you found some strength yourself, or some wisdom yourself, then to share that with others. I think that's what it means to be a good man, to bring others up with you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts in terms of, okay, so you spoke about helping people, right? But like, do you think that kind of drags you away from having like a sense of purpose? Because sometimes your sense of purpose could actually be like, oh, my purpose is to help other people, so I want to help this person being a better man, because that's part of my journey, but it's also part of their journey, and I feel like that's fulfilling me. Like, what's your whole sort of opinion on purpose, or what's your whole sort of like opinion on purpose and fun and being a better man?
Our purpose as men is to, well, not as men, I would say the masculine purpose is to constantly look to evolve, find ways you can improve yourself, and that's only going to allow you to help others. It's actually, hold on, let me grab this book real quick. The Way of the Superior Man. It talks a lot about masculinity, and I get my definition of male purpose from this. Let me just try to find it real quick. But yeah, now this book has helped quite a lot, and I think as a man, it's not bad to look for direction or guidance. I think that's where maybe a lot of mental health struggles come with men. They won't ask anyone, they will try to figure it out themselves, but if you can't figure it out, then it's just being led by no one.
I want to get onto that actually, but once you find your quote.
Where is it? Because it goes into detail about the masculine and feminine purpose. the feminine purpose is when you're more concerned with the flow of love in your life. So the relationships you want to have, good relationships in your life. You want to have a good family life.
You're still trying to find a specific page.
It was in the intro. I haven't read this book for a while. I need to read it for sure.
Oh, that's another thing. Like in terms of like dealing with depression and anxiety as well, because you mentioned that very like briefly. You know, I think because it's like Men's Mental Health Month as well. I think that's a huge topic to talk about. You know, like when it comes to sort of depression and anxiety, there's a lot of things that men have to deal with also as well. You know, that being said, like, you know, one of the things that kind of springs to mind is like, oh, you know, which is like a big topic that I've already kind of spoken about, is like providing. You know, I'm pretty sure at some point in the early stages of my dad's life, or whoever's life, they're thinking like, oh, what am I gonna do to sort of, you know, get to this stage of life where I can provide, or whatever it might be. And that kind of takes a massive toll on even on my head, man, on my head. Because when I think about the future, I don't necessarily get a crippling anxiety, but I do kind of, you know, have that fear in my head of not sort of being able to provide properly for my future family. Like, you know, where's my progression gonna come, etc. So like it's kind of like very much based around real life situations that I know I'm gonna be in. And I feel like, you know, when you're fearful of that, you're kind of projecting that in your mind too early, rather than sort of living your life day by day, which is a crazy thought from a man.
I'm struggling to find it, but from what I'm reading in the intro, I think it was detailing that the masculine purpose is just to focus on your mission in life. Like if you...
But what is your mission in life though? Have you, like, I'm not asking you personally.
Yeah.
But
okay, I think that's the difference. I think your purpose as a man is to focus on your mission and not be distracted by things outside of that mission. What your mission is individual to you.
Do you think your purpose finds you, or do you find your purpose? Because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, my purpose found me when I was living my life in a flow state, when I was not thinking about anything bad, when I wasn't depressed or anxious.
I would say we find our purpose.
Okay, cool. Expand.
Because we have to try different things. Even if, okay, say, take any footballer now, they're gonna say, you know, their purpose in life is to play football. But they started when they were 6 years old. So I think people assume that it's this thing like you finish a certain stage of life, maybe you finish university, and then you're gonna find your purpose in life. But maybe it was something you did when you were 7, or like an idea you had when you were 10 or something.
No, that's true. I don't know, like my kind of opinion on purpose, I do think that, like, you know, I don't think your purpose comes to find you. I think your purpose only arrives in your life when, and this might be a bit of a controversial opinion, people might disagree with this opinion, but I genuinely do think you find your purpose in the thing that you flourish in, if you kind of understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, like when you find that thing where you're not thinking about anything else, and, you know, when you find that sort of task that you're doing or job that you're doing where everything's just kind of out of the way, you're focused on one sort of thing, and like there's no stream of thoughts entering into your head about other areas in your life. Like everything is flowing naturally.
Yeah.
Everything is like, you know, the time goes by quickly, whatever it might be. I think that's when you kind of sort of found your true purpose or your true calling. But then you could also argue that, oh, you know, what if you're essentially having fun? You know, the time flies. Having fun is not essentially a purpose.
That's how our brain works, really.
Yeah.
Like the things that we enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoy the things that we're good at, so we're gonna do more of it and become better at it.
Yeah.
And start to enjoy it more.
Exactly.
And more. So it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
I don't think it's it's not necessarily something that finds us. It's just we choose to do what we're good at.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the problem a lot of people have is like, oh, I'm not good at anything, but it's just like there's probably something in your life that you're good at.
Yeah, 100, man.
Or
I agree.
if you haven't found it, that means you need to try more things.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think in terms of going back to mental health and how we were talking about like online figures before, I think the reason a lot of men, I think that's what needs to be looked at more so than anything else. The reason the men have gravitated towards these people, a lot of men, and it's the fact that obviously a lot of men have these issues and wanted a sense of guidance, or didn't have a male role model, so they just looked anywhere they can to for that guidance, and then they've stuck with these people.
Yeah, no. Do you think having a male figurehead in a family is really important? Because obviously there's a lot of and we've gone down a completely different avenue here when I ask you this question, which is not a bad thing at all. But like obviously, you know, having a male figurehead in your family is kind of important when it comes to actually like having role models in your family and how you would act as a man growing up. Do you get me? Like, you know, and obviously like there's probably a few examples out there of how having a male figurehead not having a male figurehead in the family has kind of not necessarily corrupted kids, but they've sort of gone down the wrong path, you know.
They don't have anyone to
look up to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they don't have anyone to look up to.
You need male role models wherever you go.
Do you think that
that's teachers, family members, hobbies, whatever it is?
No, I agree. I think having a male role model is important in your life. Just because of what you said, you know, you said it molds you as a character. You know, you see how a certain man acts in your life, and you know you look up to them and you're inspired by them. You know, I think, you know, one of my biggest role models is my dad, for sure, 100%. It's very, very emotional to say, but it's true. It is true. He does a lot for his family. He does a lot. But anyway, that's personal. I'm not going to go into details about it.
You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. But I was going to say, I feel like a lot of this is just my opinion. I feel like a lot of people that don't grow up in families without male figureheads, and they don't have like a man around them to look up to, they kind of go off on this tangent of having like sort of maybe depression or anxiety. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Like, what's going on there?
I wouldn't say
how much time I've got left.
That is the cause. I'd say it is an issue, or it can be an issue.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it causes depression or anxiety. I'd say it causes maybe growing up, you know, you just end up doing the wrong things because you've got no guidance, you've got no one to discipline you. But in terms of depression and anxiety, I think that stems more from the lack of responsibility in life. I need to sneeze. Bless me.
Bless you.
Wait, we got another one coming? No, I'm fine. I think depression and anxiety comes more from the lack of responsibility or a loneliness in life. I feel like a lot of men probably feel like they're failing, or like no one sees them, and that's why they've gone to look for these father figures online.
But do you think it's bad to have a father figure online, or? Because it's like they're not there. They're not physically there.
I think regardless of where your father figure is from, a good father figure would teach their son that they need to eventually figure things out themselves. So if you watch someone for the rest of your life, then I would say you haven't gone the right way in terms of trying to be a better man, because you haven't tried to figure out anything for yourself. You've always looked to your father figure for the answer,
for guidance.
You have to find answers yourself.
You do, and I think that's also an important part of the journey as well. Just like, you know, finding the answers for yourself. It's just like there have been like countless situations where, like, you know, like where I felt like I've not done enough or whatever it might be, and like, you know, you want to go speak to somebody who's like a male figurehead in your life about it, but then like obviously coming from my background anyway, it's hard to speak up about certain like issues that you might be facing to people in like your culture, your community, just because you don't want to go to them for advice.
I think that's the importance of the people you have around you, and
Yeah.
specifically not just the people, but having a brotherhood, having a good set of men
Yeah.
around you that have a similar mindset, because within not even particular cultures, but as a man there is, you know, stigma around showing an emotion and crying, which I know in my opinion crying is not, obviously don't cry too much, but crying isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing for a man to cry.
It's not. There's like a lot of not biological. There's benefits that come with it, you know. Like obviously, like, you know, it's okay to cry once in a while. I think, you know, but if you're crying every day as a man, then there's something.
Yeah, I think
there's something wrong.
crying comes from feeling overwhelmed. I think it's a lot of men hide that feeling of the fact that they're overwhelmed. They're like, nah, I've got everything under control, I'm okay, sort of thing. But
have you never had that like sort of feeling like when you've had like a cry, you know? I don't know when the last time you cried was.
can't remember.
I can't remember for me either. I think maybe like ages ago. But anyway, do you not get that like sense of like kind of not relief, but like you feel like there's like a little weight off your chest, like a tiny bit catharsis? Yeah, the purgation of your emotions.
That's a big word.
It is a big word, isn't it?
But yeah, no, it's helpful in that sense. But I think if you're crying all the time, then that there does have to be an element of you're a fragile person, and you do need to build up some sort of willpower and maybe thicker skin if it's a problem in your life, like people always getting to you. Then I think it's learning how to deal with other people's opinions towards you, and not taking things too
So how do you think
not taking things too personally.
Alright, cool. So how do you think, like, in terms of like dealing with your emotions, like as a fully, you know, developed man, how do you think that you should deal with your emotions?
I don't think
You don't think
this might be controversial. I don't think men should show emotion. The reason I say that is not to say like, oh, never smile, never be sad, but I say that to, I think what people need to differentiate is there's a difference between feeling emotion and showing emotion. You're 100% allowed to feel an emotion, but I think to always act on your emotions is dangerous, because
it is dangerous.
I know I was thinking about it recently. If like think about how a lot of fights start, that's because people are acting on their emotions. If they have no stoicism, they don't have the ability to be indifferent to things, and they always take things personally, then constantly acting on your emotions, that's gonna lead to negative things happening in your life.
Bro, it's a bit of a this you know what, this one's a bit of a techie one when it comes to actually sort of dealing with your emotions, because I do think that it's okay to be emotional, you know, but I just don't think that you should show it to the wrong people. Do you get me? It's like,
who's the wrong people?
Like, okay, not the wrong people. Let's just say, for example, right, like you get into a fight in your relationship or with your mum or whatever it might be, man. Like you're fueled by emotions right now. You're feeling all these things. I kind of lost my point here. I can't lie, because I was in the flow, but then you asked me the question. But I'm gonna try and get it back.
You were saying that we should show emotion.
Yeah. So I think it's calm to show emotion, right? But like, I think you should show it to a certain degree, you know. If you think about like the sort of the structure of a relationship, right, you've got the masculine energy and you've got the feminine energy. The masculine energy is like kind of constantly sort of meant to be like growing, meant to be like leveling up, whereas like you've got feminine energy in a relationship which is kind of meant to, you know, be portrayed as like emotional, like more nurturing side of things. So essentially like the female's kind of latching onto the man like that, you know, in terms of like chasing success or whatever. Like if a man is chasing success, or if you're like in the top sort of percentile of men, naturally like a female's going to feel drawn to you, innit? Okay. So what I'm saying is, if you become emotional in front of your partner, I feel like that completely sort of makes them kind of lose respect for you. It might be a little bit controversial to say.
From a man's point of view.
Yeah, from a man's point of view. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think.
I feel like it. No. Don't. Before you say anything, I feel like it's completely calm to like sort of cry in front of your partner for here and there. Like I feel like it can be emotional. It can be.
Yeah. A lot of people don't say you shouldn't cry in front of your partner.
I think you should, man. I think you should. I think it's okay because at the end of the day, your partner's seeing everything, like everything about you.
I think if you have a partner where you think you can't cry in front of them, or you can't cry in front of them, that's probably not the right partner for you.
I think in certain situations it's calm to cry. In certain situations it's completely okay to cry. But if there's a situation where you kind of have to be strong, can't think of any examples off the top of my head. Like like a challenging decision comes your way and it's like causing like an earthquake in your relationship or whatever. But obviously you want the best for your relationship. Like you want to keep moving together. Then I feel like it's important not to cry in that situation because then you're showing your vulnerability, which kind of expresses an insecurity about yourself.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one because there's so many variables. It's like in terms of relationship, it's like how long have you been with this person?
Yeah.
How does this person respond to you showing emotion? So yeah, I think you definitely have to know who you're going to be emotional around and who you're going to show which emotions to. That's why I say you shouldn't show emotion, because let's stick with the context of a relationship. If you're someone that's always acting on your sadness or your frustration, your anger, then in the context of a relationship, that's not good. That's gonna be a negative situation.
Yeah, always, man.
If you're always shouting at your partner or taking it further and
but like I think going back to what we were actually like kind of saying, like what you're saying is 100% right, by the way. Like acting upon emotion is like always like a negative thing because it never really leads to like the right outcomes, and it just leads to more miscommunication. But I think sometimes like I think personally crying in front of your partner, crying in a relationship, it's completely normal, because I feel like sometimes from time to time it strengthens your relationship here and there. Like when you plan to spend your life with somebody, they're seeing all parts of you. They're not just seeing like a one side of you. You know? So it's important to put. What I'm trying to say is it's like kind of important to put your emotions out there in moderation. You want to stay true to yourself. You want to stay true to being a man. But you got to kind of also remember you have to sort of be human in your relationship as well. So if you do feel emotional and you do feel the need to cry or you can't control it, actually not you can't control it, but if you feel the need to, then it's calm. But like try and do it in moderation and not too much.
Doing it too much, I think.
Doing it too much,
the woman will probably lose respect.
Yeah. Definitely.
She'll be able to see that you don't really have any
rationale.
Yeah, any like ability to be stoic or if there's a situation where you're both in trouble, you're the one that needs to kind of lead the situation.
There's always I feel like when you're in turmoil in your relationships, whatever it might be, like anything that involves your partner, you as a man, you kind of need to lead that. So like that's when you don't show the emotion. This is what I was kind of trying to say. It's like when there comes a situation where you need to lead, you can't show any emotion. You have to be like rational. Do you get me? But like you were saying, man, there's so many variables in terms of like in the context of relationships. Like we could go on about this for hours. Yeah. But like long story short, I think crying is okay. I think crying is okay. Like from time to time, it's alright.
No, definitely don't just never cry. That's a horrible decision. But never cry, you're emotionally you're probably fucked.
I know people that at uni that never used to cry, and they used to be in like the most messed up anyway. They used to be in like the most like crazy situations, and they just
but it's just like that. But that's what I'm saying. Not crying is not accepting your emotion. You're allowed to accept your emotion. You're allowed to feel the emotion.
It's like,
but acting is different.
It's like acknowledging the emotion,
exactly,
but not actually acting on it. I think it's important.
In terms of dealing with emotion, I would say always allow yourself to feel the emotions that you have. Don't run from them or don't suppress them. But just be careful to not allow them to come out and act on them.
Agreed, man.
And obviously there's external ways that you can deal with your emotions as well, whether that's exercise, listening to music, you know, doing things that bring you positive emotion.
Getting yourself outside the house, man. Getting yourself outside the house is a massive one. You know, like there's been times where my head has actually like been fuming. Like I've been so like I'm steaming to a point where I'm just like I can't even think rationally, and the first thing that I do is just go outside. I go outside, I'm not even into my garden, man. I go outside onto the street, like just take a walk like, down some random route, and eventually like when you feel the fresh air hit your face, or like if the sun's out and you're like absorbing that sunlight, you just kind of feel better in it. I feel better, personally speaking. But yeah, going outside, you know, going to the gym, taking care of yourself, you know, sometimes even taking care of yourself might be staying in bed the whole day from time to time. It's a bit like, you know, that one's a bit of a techie one, to be fair, because, you know, as me as a man, I feel like I should be active. I feel like I should be like, you know, keeping my mind occupied, like sort of like working towards my purpose, and also like doing the right things every day in terms of how I behave, like the actions I do with myself. But getting back to what I was saying, yeah, there's so many things that you can do in terms of like dealing with your emotions. But one thing that you can't do for sure is acting upon your emotions as a guy. You know, obviously in different contexts, it's different, right? Like relationships is different. Like sometimes you might get a bit emotional. You know, like, you know, if you're arguing with your parents, or if you're arguing with somebody, you're gonna likely get emotional. But I think the best way to sort of deal with your emotions is to sort of remove yourself from the situation temporarily, and then when you're a lot more cool, when you're calmed down, just come back to it. You know, I think that's a practice that I've kind of been applying to my life like quite a lot over the last like 3-4 months. You know, like if something just like kind of pisses me off, something just kind of pisses me off, I try my best to remove myself from the situation, and eventually when I'm calmed down, when I'm calm, I don't shout.
Yeah,
but like it's a continuous journey, man.
Yeah, I think men's mental health in particular is a very interesting topic. I'd say it's relatively new.
It's not. It is relatively new. It's relatively new.
Or it's becoming
more prevalent.
Yeah.
Exactly. More prominent.
Exactly.
More prominent, is that the right word?
Prevalent.
Same thing.
But yeah, I think the main thing around it, I think everything interlinks. So how we were speaking about male depression, I think that's cured by focusing on the male purpose.
Do you not think? Okay, yes, because like sometimes the male purpose is all about self-improvement.
I think depression in a man comes from the lack of purpose. You feel like there's no direction in your life.
Fuck yeah. I never deep that, you know. I never deep that. There's been like lots of times in my life when I'm not saying I'm feeling depressed or anything, but there's been like, why are you laughing?
I'm not.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm glad you're not depressed.
No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm humble. I'm from humble beginnings. I'm very humble. I'm awkward.
I just waffling.
But no. Getting back to what I was saying, it's like, you know, when you don't have that sense of direction in your life, right? And there's been like multiple times where I have felt like that before, like before I started working, or whilst I was studying as well, like that I felt like there was like sort of no sense of purpose in my life. It doesn't make you feel nice, it really doesn't. But then, you know, you kind of have to do things to sort of combat that. You have to give direction to your own life, essentially, which is what I feel like what my situation was like, you know, like when I was at uni, when I was studying, you know, I was constantly sort of, you know, like there'll be days where I'm laying around in bed and doing nothing, and there'll be days where I'm like banging out essays the night before.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like not being productive as a man makes you feel worse than being productive.
But as soon as like I put my head down for like, you know, my final year in that, as soon as I started putting my head down for my final year, I think, you know, I was incorporating exercise into my daily routine. Like that's when the meditation started. That's when all of these like little things, little contributing factors to my life made a massive difference in terms of my mental health. And I felt like, you know, me doing these things, even if I haven't found my purpose yet, it'll guide me closer to actually getting there.
Yeah, when you're doing things and there's a reason behind those things, you won't feel empty.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in a depressed state, you know, there's no desire to do anything. Your brain kind of just shuts down.
Yeah.
and it's just like, you know, we're just gonna stay in darkness, and not do anything. And it's not, obviously it's not easy to get out of depression. I'm not just gonna say,
So never.
just smile, bro, like it'll be fine. But you have it's not that easy, but you have to force yourself out of it. And I think you have to start with the basic things, like just taking care of yourself, like maybe getting a haircut or like having a shower, like something very basic, just putting on clean clothes.
Baby steps or manly steps, whatever you want to call it. Tiny steps, and you crawl your way out of depression. That's how. Yeah, it's never easy though. It's never easy. But like once you start sort of finding your direction and doing things for yourself. When I say doing things for yourself, I mean doing things for the benefit of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You realise that there is that like sort of sense of direction in your life, and you're like working towards something eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me being me, like I'm a lot more like, you know me, bro. Like 4 or 5 years ago, like I'm not the same person anyway.
No, you're not.
Yeah. But like I was not productive, man. I'll be sitting like in front of like YouTube the whole day and doing this. But like once I started like working out and taking the tiny steps that I needed to do to actually like sort of better myself. I feel like it's guided me closer towards where I want to be and where I need to be. Obviously, you know, that being said, I feel like I haven't actually like properly found my purpose yet, but like I feel like maybe you could have like multiple purposes in life, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like one sole thing, you know. Like when a footballer is done with playing football, they move into coaching or they become a pundit or whatever, you know, but like their purpose is associated with football, but you know, their purpose changes. It goes from playing football to actually like sort of being associated with it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I think it's difficult, like what you were saying about like probably the case with a lot of uni students. You kind of lose the motivation to do things.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's harder in modern times, and I think like you can look at statistics, like as we've gone into modern times and, you know, technology's evolved. And we have all these avenues of distractions. Depression and anxiety has increased massively. So I think it's a lot of these things that take our mind away from being present, take our mind away from focusing on the things that are actually gonna help us, and focusing on, you know, just cheap stimulation. That definitely has, you know, there's a scientific side of it as far as like dopamine and, you know, overstimulating yourself, that's going to cause depression in a lot of people, because you just feel, you know, basic things don't bring you pleasure anymore.
Yeah, no, they don't.
You have to constantly scroll your phone, play video games for hours, sort of things.
Yeah, no, like bro, like today's generation, like, it's just a bit, I don't want to say fucked because they're not fucked, but like it's more difficult for them. It's a lot more difficult. Like you throw it back to like the 50s and the 60s and in whatever. They
ain't got no distractions.
They no.
If you wanna have fun, you go outside and throw a rock.
Exactly. If you want, you find like a hula hoop or something, like a stick, and just throw it.
Exactly. Pleasure was a lot more
like
simple.
You don't have like all these distractions. Like, you know, you see how accessible.
Even when we were younger, like we would go outside and play in the garden.
I feel like we're the last generation to actually do that kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't actually grow up with like social media or like TikTok or things or Instagram or anything like that.
You just like play outside, go to the park or.
Yeah, that's what I used to do, because it like I maybe had like TV and like YouTube, but that's about it growing up. But like nothing else. I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have like, you know, MySpace. I mean, MySpace was a thing when I was growing up, but I didn't.
It's not going to be as like stimulating, was it?
No,
of course, the things we have now.
Of course not, man. But like these like little forms of like stimulation that people do, like by like scrolling on their phone, like looking at reels or TikToks.
Yeah.
It's like it's consuming your mind, you know. It's actually
all these things, they desensitize our mind to normal pleasures in life, like looking at nature and like looking at trees and the sun.
But I get more pleasure out of looking at that tree swaying like this rather than going on like Instagram reels. I can't even tell you the last 3 Instagram reels I watched or 4 Instagram reels I watched. That's how I know that. Do you get my point?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's different for. I mean, the thing is, there's still people our age or even older that have like fallen into those kinds of addictions, and what gets people deeper and deeper into depression, and like not finding any direction or purpose in life.
Yeah, and I feel like these, like, you know, that like these little pleasures that we're talking about, it just kind of distracts you a little bit, like distracts you, desensitizes you, like you've already said. Like, you know, people can spend like hours just like scrolling on their phone and not even realize it, and like in that hour you could have been doing something a lot more productive, and you would have felt better about yourself as well. That's the thing. You would have felt a lot better about yourself.
Our brains just look for the easy way out.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, I'm no psychologist, but it sounds like what you're saying is right there. It sounds like what you're saying is right. You know, scroll less, go outside more, exercise more, clean yourself more. You know, stop focusing on like little things that sort of distract you. You know, and continuously look to work on yourself. I don't know why I've got my hands like this, but it's just natural.
Yeah, no, I feel you. You're getting your point across.
Yeah. Just desensitized. Like, obviously, got going on like reels here and there. It's okay, but or TikTok is okay. But man.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely important to just do these small things, especially you know, not if you necessarily are depressed or have depression, but even if you feel low.
Yeah.
As a man, getting yourself or finding a sense of direction, it's just about taking these small steps, because I mean it's important. Like we were looking at before we started the podcast, like some of the stats,
the suicide rates
on suicide. Like men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide.
Yeah, man, like
it's the biggest killer of men under the age of 50.
12 men losing their lives every day in the UK to suicide. It's crazy.
So men's mental health is definitely a serious thing, and it's just taking these small steps to improving your mental health, because that's where it all starts. It all starts up here in your mind.
Yeah, man. Agreed, 100%. Just taking care of yourself. It's the most important thing. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your own mental health. You know?
It's all mindset, because I feel like when you're in a depressed state, most people tend to have thoughts that like everything's against them. Like nothing in life is gonna go their way, sort of thing. Whether that's, you know, feeling lonely or like you have no purpose, you have nothing going on in your life, you have no sense of direction. I think it's all these things that creep into your mind, and you know, over time it's hard to change your mindset. No,
I think probably like changing your mindset's a hard thing to do. It's a big step you have to take as well. It's a huge step, and like, you know, taking that step is like the sort of first step towards your own sort of like self-improvement and your own journey of being a man. Like, you know, I think we touched upon this like last week. It's just like I think I was saying to you, like, acknowledgement of your situation, and acknowledgement of where you are right now is a massive step. Because you're basically saying to yourself that, oh yeah, I'm comfortable, I need to put myself in an uncomfortable position or whatever it might be, and then slowly but surely, like, as you start building upon these little things that you do, you know, maybe getting up at 6, or, you know, finding a job, going to work, going to the gym, meditating, cold showers, you know, red pill knowledge, whatever it might be, you'll feel the growth. You will actually feel the growth. You'll feel a sense of direction, and I feel like it's just one of those things that will just click in your head. It's like, for me, like, I didn't actually question why I started gym, or why I started, you know, doing like exercise at least 3-4 times a week. It's like I just put my mind to it, put my grind to it, and then eventually, like, you know, I was building a better body, I was building like a better healthy lifestyle, and I was like, okay, this is something that, you know, this is something that is making sense in my head. Yeah,
you have to want to improve. You have to have some little bit of desire to want to be in a better situation.
And as soon as I put myself in that better situation, I felt like I was continuously working towards something, because I was setting more goals in my head. Do you get me? I want to look like this person, or I want to look like Christopher Seabom. Obviously, like Christopher Seabom, Mr. Olympia, innit?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mr. Olympia. Yeah, Chris Bumstead. Yeah. Yeah, I got the name completely wrong, butchered his name, but Yeah, man, these like sort of people, they started becoming my inspirations. And I guess, like, you know, when we were talking about the presence of an online fatherly figure, I started watching their content a lot more because I felt like in that area of my life, obviously I didn't really have
they were going to give you guidance.
Yeah, they were going to give me guidance. Like, you know, I guess I do have people close to me that do bang gym. But you know, you did give me that guidance though. You were that like sort of fatherly figure. Like, you know, as emotional as that sounds, you were that fatherly figure that gave me the right direction and the right guidance. So, like, you know, I did the right thing there by sort of, like, you know, giving myself a sense of purpose and working towards something. But yeah, yeah, man, thank you.
No worries.
Appreciate that.
I don't think we have anything else to talk about, really. I feel like we've covered quite a lot.
We have covered quite a lot, man. It's been nice. I think it's good to talk about these issues. It's good to actually, like, sort of get yourself out there in terms of, like, talking about your experiences as a man. You know, like, even like doing this podcast right now, just that doesn't feel like a revelation in my mind, but it kind of feels like there's like a weight that's been kind of lifted off my chest. I don't know if you feel the same, but that's how I feel.
That's good.
Yeah,
I think it's just to what you're saying. I think obviously you need to talk to someone about your mental or whatever issues you're going through. I think just make sure you pick the right person, someone that's going to listen to you, and
find somebody that's going to listen to you. Like, you know, like, you're not alone. There's like so many people out there that are more than more
sure, bro. It's not that kind of
more than willing to help you, to listen, whatever it might be, whatever your situation is, you know.
There's hundreds of thousands of people in the same situation as you are.
Just reach out.
You're alone.
There's always there's always people in the same boat. There's always somebody out there. There's always a James out there that's, you know.
James.
James.
Why are you gunning for James?
I don't know. I'm not gunning for James.
What did James do?
James didn't do anything. It's just the first name that came to my head, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Yeah, man. Just take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. That's the most important thing. And, you know, reach out to somebody if you need to. It's a big step, but if you're going through something right now, it's the best step.
100%. Yeah, I think that's it for sure now. Yeah, appreciate you guys watching episode 2 of the Upgrade podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment,
all that good stuff.
and peace.
In a bit.